You did everything right that you got the good grades. You chased the promotions. You followed the path, the one you were told, time and time again, would lead to success. You collected the right credentials, you put in the long hours, you dutifully climbed each rung of the ladder that was placed in front of you. So, why do you feel like you're further from it than ever before? Why does that finish line seem to keep moving? Why does the view from this ladder look out onto a landscape that feels foreign? A landscape you didn't choose? It's because the biggest lie you've been told about success is that it's a destination. That it's a linear path. A predictable, one-size-fits-all formula you just have to follow. But that formula was designed to create cogs in a machine, not to build a life of genuine fulfillment. Today, we're not just going to question that formula, that we're going to dismantle the most damaging myths that have been holding you back, piece by piece, so you can finally stop climbing and start building a life that is truly your own. The narrative introduction, the story of the perfect path. Let's talk about someone we'll call Alex. Alex is a composite of so many people I know, and maybe parts of this story will sound familiar to you, too. From a young age, Alex was the model student. The world presented a clear and simple contract: excel in school, and you will excel in life. So, Alex excelled. Straight A's, student council, the right extracurriculars. Alex learned to play the game of academics perfectly. The reward for winning that game was entry into a good university, which was sold as the next critical level up. At university, the contract was renewed, just with higher stakes. The new goal was to secure a prestigious job. So Alex majored in something sensible, something with a clear and stable career trajectory. Alex networked, polished the resume, and landed the coveted entry-level position at a respectable company. The ladder was there, right on schedule, and so, the climb began. For the next decade, Alex did everything a successful professional is supposed to do. Arrived early, stayed late, took on extra projects. Alex learned to navigate office politics, to anticipate the boss's needs, to speak the language of quarterly reports and KPIs. Each promotion came with a little more money, a slightly better title, and a heavier workload. From the outside, Alex was the very picture of success. A homeowner. A respected team lead. Someone who had made it. But internally, a creeping sense of dread had begun to set in. The victories felt hollow. The promotions just meant more stress, more responsibility for things Alex didn't truly care about. Waking up on a Monday morning felt like putting on a heavy costume for a play Alex never auditioned for. There was this profound and terrifying disconnect between the life on paper and the life being felt. The success that was promised, the feeling of arrival, of satisfaction, of purpose, it wasn't there. Instead, there was just exhaustion. And a quiet, persistent question that grew louder every year: is this it? Alex was a success by every metric society provides, yet felt like a failure. This is the quiet despair that the success myths breed. It's the feeling of being trapped in a life you meticulously built, based on a blueprint that was a lie. Section 1. The myth of the linear ladder. The first and most foundational lie is the one that ensnared Alex so completely: the myth of the linear ladder. This is the idea that a career is a straight, upward climb. It's a sequence of predictable steps: school, then college, then job, then promotion, then senior promotion, then corner office, then retirement. It's a tidy, organized, and deeply reassuring narrative. It tells us that if we just keep our heads down and climb, we will inevitably reach the top. We believe this lie because it's simple, and our brains love simplicity. It's reinforced from our first day of school, where we advance from first grade to second grade in a straight line. It's echoed in corporate structures with their clearly defined hierarchies and pay grades. The entire system is built to make us see life as a series of rungs. But here is the devastating truth: that ladder is an illusion. For many, it's not a ladder to their own personal summit, it's a treadmill angled slightly upward to give the impression of progress. Working harder without the right strategy just leads to burnout. The reality is that sheer effort is the most basic, entry-level requirement, not the secret key to victory. Anyone can work hard. People all over the world are working incredibly hard right now and getting nowhere. The real differentiator isn't the volume of work, but the strategy behind it. That this is where the Pareto principle, or the 80-20 rule, comes in. This principle suggests that for many outcomes, roughly 80% of the consequences come from 20% of the causes that in your career and life. This means about 80% of your meaningful results, your real success, your happiness, your wealth, will likely come from just 20% of your efforts. The person stuck on the linear ladder is the one spending 100% of their effort on the 80% of tasks that yield minimal results. They are answering every email with the same urgency, attending every meeting, ticking every box on their job description, believing that all effort is created equal. The person who understands the truth, however, works smarter, not just harder. They relentlessly ask themselves. They have the courage to sideline the trivial many in favor of the vital few. They might say no to a meeting to finish a critical project. They might automate low-impact tasks to free up mental energy for high-level strategy. They aren't just climbing, they are constantly analyzing the terrain, looking for leverage, for a better way up the mountain. Sometimes, they realize they're on the wrong mountain entirely. For Alex, believing in the linear ladder meant treating every task as equally important. It meant spending years perfecting skills for a job that was part of the 80%, the low-impact business, instead of identifying and cultivating the unique 20% talents that could have led to true fulfillment and exponential growth. The ladder keeps you so busy climbing that you never have a moment to stop and ask if it's propped against the right wall. Section 2. The Passion Panacea. The second great lie is the seductive and often paralyzing advice, follow your passion. We hear this everywhere. In graduation speeches, on inspirational posters, in countless articles. It's the go-to advice for anyone feeling lost. The story goes that if you can just identify that one thing you love more than anything else and turn it into a career, you'll never work a day in your life. We believe this because it feels so right, so romantic. It appeals to our desire for a life filled with meaning and joy. But passion by itself is not enough. It's a powerful starting point, a fantastic source of fuel, but it is not a business plan. Here's the practical reality. Your passion alone won't pay the bills. The market cares about solving its problems. True, sustainable success often comes from finding the intersection of three things: times something you are passionate about, or could become passionate about. Times something you are exceptionally good at, or can become good at. A problem that enough people are willing to pay to have solved. Times without all three, the model collapses. Passion without skill is just a hobby. Skill without passion leads to the kind of burnout Alex experienced. And passion and skill without a market to serve is a path to frustration. You might be incredibly passionate and skilled at building intricate ships inside glass bottles, but if not enough people are willing to pay for them, you don't have a business, you have a fascinating hobby. The lie of follow your passion creates two dangerous traps. First, it pressures people to find a single, grand passion, making many feel lost or like a failure if they don't have one. The truth is, passion is often developed. It grows as you get good at something and see the impact it makes. Second, it leads people to choose careers based on emotion, without any strategic analysis of market demand. They launch a vegan bakery because they love baking, without researching the local competition. They become a life coach because they love helping people, without defining a specific, valuable problem they can solve for a specific client. In our story, Alex was never even given the chance to consider passion. The path was about security. But later, when the burnout hit, the follow your passion advice was confusing. What was my passion? Is it too late? The real question shouldn't have been what am I passionate about, but rather, what problems do I see in the world that I am uniquely skilled and motivated to solve? That subtle shift changes everything. It moves the focus from inward-looking desire to outward-looking service and value creation. And that is a true engine of success. Mid-video Site, we're about to dive into the next myth, which is one of the most visible and deceptive lies in our modern culture. If you're finding these truths eye-opening and you're ready to start cutting through the noise, take a moment to hit that subscribe button for Wealth Saga. We're dedicated to helping you build your own path, and we have so much more to share. Section 3. The myth of the overnight success. Now for the third lie, the one that floods our social media feeds every single day, the myth of the overnight success. This is the story of the 20-something tech founder who becomes a billionaire. The YouTuber who suddenly goes viral. The author whose debut novel hits the bestseller list out of nowhere. The media loves these stories because they are dramatic and inspiring. They let us fantasize that the same miraculous stroke of fortune could happen to us. We believe this lie because we only see the highlight reel. We see the victory, but we don't see the thousands of hours of unglamorous work that came first. We don't see the years of failed projects, the rejections, the sleepless nights spent learning, the moments of crippling self-doubt. The overnight success is almost always the result of a decade of thankless effort. The reality is that success isn't an event, it's a process. It's a long journey of consistent effort, learning, and adaptation. Those overnight successes are simply the moment when years of private preparation finally meet a public opportunity. Think of the iceberg analogy. We only see the 10% that's visible above the water. That's the success, the awards, the wealth, the recognition. But hidden beneath the surface is the 90% no one sees, the persistence, the failures, the sacrifices, the discipline. Believing in overnight success is incredibly dangerous for two reasons. First, it creates wildly unrealistic expectations. When we start a new venture and don't see immediate, massive results, we get discouraged. We think, this must not be for me, and we quit, because our timeline is distorted by these fairy tales. This myth makes us undervalue the power of slow, compounding growth. Second, it devalues the role of failure. The journey to success is paved with failures. Failure isn't the opposite of success, it's a critical part of the process. Each failure is a data point. It's a lesson. The kindergartners in the famous Marshmallow Challenge often outperform business students because they don't waste time planning for one perfect tower. They just start building, and when a structure fails, they learn from it and try again. They embrace iteration. People who achieve great things didn't just get lucky, they took more shots on goal. They failed more times than most people even try. For someone like Alex, this myth is a source of quiet shame. Alex looks at these stories and thinks, I've been working for over a decade and I'm not a millionaire. What am I doing wrong? It prevents Alex from appreciating the small, incremental progress and fosters a sense of being behind. The truth is, building something real takes time. There are no shortcuts. You have to be willing to fall in love with the process, because that's where the real work and the real transformation happens. Section 4, The Credentials Trap. The fourth lie is one deeply embedded in our education system, the myth that credentials guarantee success. The belief is that the right degree, the right certification, or the right acronym after your name is a golden ticket. We're told to collect these credentials as if they are badges that prove our worth. The more prestigious the institution, the more valuable the badge. We believe this because, for a long time, it was largely true. A college degree was a powerful differentiator. But today, while credentials can still open doors, they don't keep you in the room. In many fields, their power has been diluted by degree inflation, where a flood of credentials makes it harder to stand out. The hard truth is this: the world ultimately rewards you for delivering results, not for your resume. Action and skill, not just knowledge, are the keys to success. While credentials remain absolutely critical for entry and advancement in many professions like medicine, law, or engineering, in many other areas, real-world experience and a portfolio of results can speak louder than a diploma. This myth creates credential collectors, people perpetually stuck in a cycle of learning, always seeking one more certification before they feel ready to take real action. This is often a sophisticated form of procrastination, driven by a fear of failure. They hide behind their diplomas, avoiding the messy, unpredictable arena of the real world. In Alex's story, credentials were the foundation of the early career. The degree was the proof of worth. But when Alex felt that emptiness, the first instinct might have been to get an MBA, believing another credential would solve the problem. But the problem wasn't a lack of knowledge. It was a lack of alignment. Another piece of paper wasn't going to fix that. What truly matters is not just the degree you hold, but the skills you possess and your ability to execute. Your value isn't in what you know, but in what you can do with what you know. The turning point, building a new blueprint. Let's go back to Alex, sitting at a desk late one night, staring at a spreadsheet for a project Alex has no passion for. The weight of these myths, the ladder, the passion, the overnight success, the credentials, is crushing. And in that moment of quiet crisis, something shifts. Alex realizes, the blueprint is wrong. The entire architecture of this life was built on a faulty foundation. And with that comes a terrifying but liberating thought: I can walk away from this ladder. Quitting isn't failure, sometimes it's a crucial strategic decision. It's stopping your investment of time and energy into an unproductive path so you can reinvest it elsewhere. Alex doesn't quit impulsively. Instead, Alex begins a process of reinvention. First, Alex redefines what success even means. It's no longer about a title or a salary. The new definition of success is about autonomy, alignment, and impact. This new definition is personal and intrinsic, not external and societal. Next, Alex stops searching for a magical passion and starts a practical inventory. What problems does Alex see? What is Alex genuinely good at? After years in the corporate world, Alex is an expert at streamlining complex processes. It's a real skill. And Alex notices that many small businesses are drowning in operational chaos. There's the problem that Alex doesn't quit the job right away. The journey starts with a small, manageable step, a small consulting side project on the weekends. It's not glamorous. It's hard work after a long week. But for the first time in years, the work feels electric. Alex sees the direct impact of saving a client time and money. The client's gratitude is more satisfying than any corporate bonus ever was. This small win builds confidence. Alex gets another client, then another. The process is slow, the complete opposite of an overnight success. But with each step, Alex is building something real. After a year of building this on the side, Alex is finally able to walk away from the corporate job, not into a life of leisure, but into a life of purpose-driven work. The income is less at first, but the sense of fulfillment is immeasurable. Alex is no longer climbing someone else's ladder. Alex is building a unique and meaningful enterprise from the ground up. The core lesson and conclusion: Alex's journey is a journey of unlearning. It's about dismantling a lifetime of programming about what success is supposed to look like. The biggest lie is that there's a single definition of success. There isn't. The only thing that will ever make you truly successful is creating a life that is in alignment with your own values. Success isn't a destination you arrive at, it's the process of consciously and courageously building that life. It's not about having it all, it's about having what truly matters to you. Stop looking for the ladder. Stop waiting for a magical passion to strike. Stop comparing your messy, behind-the-scenes journey to someone else's highlight reel. And please, stop thinking you need one more credential before you're ready. You are ready now. Start where you are, with what you have. Define success on your own terms. Focus on the vital activities that create real impact. Solve a problem that matters to you. Celebrate the small wins, because the journey is the destination. Embrace failure as the tuition you pay for your education in achievement. The old map is a lie. It's time to throw it away and draw your own. Call to action: if you found these truths about success eye-opening, hit that like button and subscribe to Wealth Saga for more insights that cut through the noise and help you build your own path to success. And now, I want to hear from you. What is the biggest lie about success that you've had to unlearn? Share your story in the comments below. Your experience could be the turning point for someone else reading it.